Hey, welcome back to the GM. I'm your guy, Boulanger. And up next, I want to talk about what the Baltimore Ravens are going to do at the wide receiver position in response to the most recent Ray Lewis comments. Now, let me speak about Ray Lewis just for 1 second. Ray Lewis is the primary reason I became a Baltimore Ravens fan. Uh, Ray Lewis was a Miami Hurricane. I was a Miami Hurricane fan, and when Ray Lewis was drafted to the Baltimore Ravens, I instantly became a Baltimore Ravens fan and have been so since that time. And so anything Ray Lewis says concerning the Baltimore Ravens, like most fans, I perk up my ears and listen. And so when he began to speak about uh, the Baltimore Ravens needing to get Lamar Jackson a number one receiver, I believe that's something that all Ravens fans could get in agreement with. But if you have not heard what Ray Lewis said, let me share the video clip with you really quick. Want to hit a few things that he said, and then I want to speak directly to why one particular rumor that's out there about DeAndre Hopkins possibly being a fit for the Ravens, and given Lamar Jackson that number one receiver, I want to talk to why we may want to hold our horses um, on getting excited about the potential DeAndre Hopkins becoming a Baltimore Ravens. But let's listen to Ray real quick, and then I'll come back to you. Now, one thing you've heard me say on some other videos is that I thought that Lamar Jackson had outgrown the Baltimore Ravens offense and Greg Roman. And I had a couple of people, slap back at me for that comment, and talk to me about that they, meaning the Baltimore Ravens, had built the offense around Lamar Jackson. But it sounds like Ray Lewis is suggesting that this Ravens offense was not built for Lamar. It was built for the coaching skill set, which is something I referred to a couple of weeks back in an earlier video. So I wanted to just share that quick clip, and Ray hit a few important things about Lamar Jackson needing help. And this is not the first time Ray Lewis has spoken out about the Baltimore Ravens needing to get Lamar Jackson some wide receivers. March 28th of I believe it was 2021, I believe, maybe 2022. There was an article written where where Ray Lewis was speaking directly to the fact that the Baltimore Ravens need to put some pieces, specifically wide receivers, around Lamar Jackson. So Ray uh, has been consistent over some years, speaking about what the Ravens should do and ought to do uh, to help Lamar Jackson out at that quarterback position. And so when we consider some of the things that we've been seeing over the last couple of years, specifically at the wide receiver position, um, you know, we all could agree that the Baltimore Ravens need to add some wide receiver pieces, and we understand that um, they have vowed, John Harbaugh and Eric DaCosta have vowed to rebuild that wide receiver room and add some depth. And I'm not here to suggest that they have not made some attempts over some years, but they just have not hit the wide receiver position out of the park, especially when it comes to the draft. You know, if we go all the way back to Brashad Perriman, who was a first round pick but never panned out, and I believe they gave up on him too quick. But you know, um, but of course, he didn't pan out. And then, you got to give some consideration to the drafting of Marquise Brown, who was there for uh, 4 years, and he wanted out, which means he didn't pan out. Then you draft and he was a first rounder. Then you draft Rashad Bateman, and his rookie year and this year he was hurt both years. So I'm not suggesting, and of course Brashad Perriman was there before Lamar Jackson, but in the Lamar Jackson era, I'm not suggesting that the Baltimore Ravens have not made an attempt to add some wide receiver help for Lamar Jackson, but they have not gone out and got uh, that bona fide number one, which has led Ravens fans to be very, very hungry and thirsty and desiring them to go out and pull off a deal like some other teams have done for their quarterbacks and pull off that big deal to bring him a number one receiver. And so, we've all heard the rumors, you know, about DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Thomas. We heard DJ Moore at the trade line last year, and all good options. But the one that's been kind of thrown around as of late, pretty consistently, is DeAndre Hopkins, and I don't know at this point in time if DeAndre Hopkins is the Baltimore Ravens' best option, right? Them having to go in and get DeAndre Hopkins would cost them probably a second or a third, and they don't have a second round pick this year. And if they give up a third to get him, his salary is so large. His salary cap hit this year is almost $20 million, which then doesn't leave room to add any other wide receiver pieces, nor does it leave any room to resign some valuable free agents or bring some other pieces to fill some holes in. And so I've been assessing the Baltimore Ravens roster as it is for 2023, and there is several holes that need to be addressed. So I think going to get a DeAndre Hopkins, the price tag, both in compensation that the Baltimore Ravens will have to give up, and also the price tag of what his salary cap number is, may be too costly. And I know that I've heard some, we all have heard probably the mentality of the LA Rams who have that quote unquote F those picks, and it brought them a championship last year. Okay. And I don't believe Baltimore will ever adopt that mentality. But if they decide to go all in this year, I do not think DeAndre Hopkins is the go all in candidate. Let me and before I show you something, let me tell you why. So I believe DeAndre Hopkins is a stud or has been a stud wide receiver up until this past year, and maybe even the last 2 years, where we've seen a decline. And if we can be honest, most wide receivers start to decline once they hit the 30 um, year mark. And DeAndre Hopkins, as it is today, is 31 years old. And so I want to show you how I believe he's on the Julio Jones trajectory, which means he's going to be on steep decline in comparison to what his production has been his first 9 or 10 years in the league. And that always begins with a series of injuries, which we have certainly seen from DeAndre Hopkins this year. So hold one more time. Let me pull up this little slide that I made so I can show you a comparison between Julio and D Hop, and then I can show you why I say he may be on a Julio Jones trajectory. So when we look at Julio Jones, we can see I'm only showing you his last 4 years, and you can see 2 years in Atlanta. You can see 1 year in Tennessee, and then this most recent year, 2022, in Tampa Bay. And as you can see, now Julio Jones is 2 years older than DeAndre Hopkins, but what I am doing is comparing time frame to time frame as it pertains to experience in the league, because they both were drafted, if I can remember correctly, in that 2011 draft. So they have the same number of years in the league. And so when you look, Julio Jones's 2019 and 2020 year in Atlanta, he had he played 15 games. He had 99 catches for almost 1,400 yards, which is a really good season for a wide receiver, way above average for most wide receivers. But when we see 2020, and we know Julio Jones has had some injury um, issues, but when we look at 2020, he played 9 games, still had a pretty good amount of catches, but he only had a little, well, almost 800 yards, 771, which is half his production from the previous year, because it's almost half the games. When you look at his first year in Tennessee, played 10 games, and you see that you see his production have a great decline, 31 catches for under 500. And then when you look at his year in Tampa, when he's also surrounded by other top-notch wide receivers, you will see him have played 10 games, 24 catches, less than 300 yards. And so we have seen a steep decline in the last 4 years, and that is to be expected from a guy who's well over 30 as it pertains to being when we're counting football years. But let's compare Julio Jones' production to DeAndre Hopkins' production. Now, DeAndre Hopkins in his first 8 or 9 years had only missed 3 games, which is absolutely remarkable. But when you look at that 2019 season, when he still was a Texan playing with Deshaun Watson, you see he played 15 games just like Julio and had almost 1,100 yards. Excuse me, he had 1,600 yards and over 100 catches. Very good production his first year in Arizona, 116 catches, over 1,000 yards. But then when you look at his 2021 season in Arizona, he only played 10 games. We know he got injured that year for under 500 yards. Then when you look at the 2022 season, you also see another decline, only playing 9 games for under 700 yards. Now, what I will acknowledge is that 6 of the games this year, he was suspended for, I believe it was a PED violation. And we understand that guys, after being injured, will take some supplements and things like that. Whether knowingly or unknowingly, they will try some supplements to kind of get themselves back on the right track. And DeAndre Hopkins did say that he did not know that he was using an illegal substance. But nevertheless, we can certainly see the decline. And so at 31 years old, we cannot expect a 2019 or 2020 year of production, especially as we've had 2 years of injuries, because even though he missed 6 games for suspension, we still see he only played 9 games. The other 2 that he missed was for injury again. But let's take a look at his contract. So this is DeAndre Hopkins' contract. He did sign a new extension with Arizona a couple of years ago. He's in year 2 of that new contract. And then if we look, the total value is a little over 54 million. His average annual salary is or what his cap hit will be about 27 million. If he's traded to the Baltimore Ravens, it'll be about 19 million. The Cardinals will still have to pay that guaranteed money. Um, his total guarantee uh, in this contract was 60 million. And then if you look at his 2022 salary, it's going to be about 13 million, and his 2024 salary, um, let me see, his 2022 salary was 13 million, and I thought I had his 2020. He's a free agent in 2025. I thought I had his other salaries on here, but I guess I didn't put them on here. But anyway, um, and so when you look at these numbers, I do know, like I said, he is going to cost about 19 million if he comes to the Ravens in a trade. So the Ravens will certainly have to try and maybe do a 3-year deal, uh, maybe pay him uh, a little more. A little more upfront and a sign-on bonus to get that yearly salary down. But I think that if we commit that kind of money to one wide receiver, although he oh my gosh, I think we can say he has been great. But the last couple of years he has not been. I don't want to see the Baltimore Ravens say, okay, we're going all in, and then he gets into Baltimore and he's not what we perceived him to be, because then we're in a worse situation, at least for 2 years, while he has such a high cap hit somewhere between 13 and 19 million. And so I think that there are some other options. May not be as spectacular, but I think there are some other options. I'll share those options in a second video. But then there is one option at the wide receiver position. He is a veteran. And if we go all in for someone, I think he is the guy we go all in on, because I think he's a little younger than DeAndre, but his production has not fallen off much at all. But so uh, I think that getting DeAndre is a great idea. I do, but I'm really concerned that he will not be the DeAndre Hopkins we've seen, and rightfully so, because he is 31 now, and there is no way we can think that he can produce this way that he used to produce. Um, and so a 5th round pick, a 6th round pick, maybe if we can swing that kind of deal. I know that's not real beneficial for Arizona, but I'm not in the business of doing anything well for Arizona. And we've done business with Arizona before, trading them Marquise Brown. But I don't want the Ravens nation to hold out hope for DeAndre Hopkins, thinking he's going to be that guy to get us over the hump. And I'm not 100% sure that he is, based on what we've seen. You know, him and Julio have a similar body type, similar catch radius. Both have great hands. Julio is certainly a little faster. DeAndre is a little wider. But they both can make big time plays, or used to could make big time plays. But typically, when a wide receiver starts to get injured and his games played goes down, his catches will go down, his yards will go down, and then Baltimore Ravens nation will be in the same position we have been, with a wide receiver who is aging, who can no longer get it done. Like when we went out and got Anquan Bolden, we had a rock solid defense uh, when we went and got him, but we also had a Torrey Smith in place, and we also brought in a Jacoby Jones. I'm pretty sure that was Jacoby Jones. I know it was Jacoby. I think his last name was Jones for sure. Who could also, do some things on the field. But I don't know if we have that other go-to guy, because Rashad Bateman has been hurt the last 2 years. Duve did not show that he could be a number one. So I think we may be in a situation where we have to give up a lot and cost us a lot of cap space to get DeAndre, and then not be able to add another young, talented piece to give us, kind of a trio in order to spell DeAndre, so that his longevity through a season will last. Listen, man, if you like this kind of content, Let me know what you want me to know, man. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate you guys checking out the GM. I'm your guy Boulanger, and I'm out.